Now we're live. And
Yeah.
if people discover that we're live, in the window, there's a view. It tells you how many people are watching, if anybody is watching.
Okay, right now on my screen, I'm just seeing the live in the upper right-hand side. I see the settings.
Oop. Yeah, that's gonna not work. Oh, Ian is here. So
hi, Ian.
I am seeing Ian. The problem with doing this and me watching and seeing in the chat is I can't, if I see the chat, we're gonna get like all the we're gonna hear ourselves twice. So right. Ian, I know you're here. There's 5 of you here now, and I see that, but hang on a second. Cindy and I are trying something new, and if it works, it's gonna be great. Well, let's see first, hold on. I've got to go to my channel. I got to find myself again. That's just so funny. I'll never get used to saying that. Let's see. So YouTube's definitely having issues this morning. I don't even see that it saved our broadcast, which is sucks, but there you have it. There's nothing I can do about it. And oh, we have 7 people watching. I can't find myself. So I can't see the chat, and Cindy can't really either. Oh, there. Wait,
yeah, I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah, see, we can't find ourselves. Oh, we have 7 people watching. Oh, see, I can't find myself. All right. So hey, I see who is here. So we have Gail, D, Lisa, O, Ian, and Cindy, of course. And we're testing something new now. I want to tell you all. So hey, I see. I cleaned up real quick, and I put things away. And as you know, I was having issues getting onto YouTube Live with Google Hangout like I always do. It wasn't working. I had to go in through a different way. So I don't know what the problem was, and we have had problems today with a lot of viewers having the screen freeze, myself included. And it also didn't save the video. So I don't know. You can't, if you didn't see the live broadcast of me doing that last landscape, it's lost. So, oh, D, I don't know. So we're also, yeah, so that's because we had multiple devices on. The audio looping should be fine now. Cindy and I were trying to see the chat without having all the audio looping going on, and I just lost Cindy. So Cindy, you need to come back. I don't see you. Click on that same link, and you should be able to come back. So Cindy and I are trying something new, and if it works, then I can have actually a live person in the broadcast with me. But we lost the video. The video is gone, and I don't know what's up with YouTube today. Like, the video is gone. So I may film. There, she's back. Yay. So I may actually film recreating another landscape using that photo like I did before, and do it on a tape for you all, like I did earlier today, and do it on tape. I'll do it on a loose piece of paper. I have to film a couple things today anyway, so maybe I'll do that later today because we lost the live broadcast, which I don't know if that's good or bad. We were talking mostly about food. I think we're all hungry.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, so Cindy is here.
Things were.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we were discussing the ingredients in haggis, which nobody needs to know that. That's just that nasty stuff.
Kind of like scrapple.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. It's just, all the leftover bits, and yeah. So if this works, then we're going to have, yep, see, there she is. I see her. So we're going to have Cindy here on the broadcast, and she's going to help me out. What I am noticing in the view on the live broadcast is that I see Cindy in the Google Hangouts window. She's small in the corner, and on the live YouTube broadcast, you don't see her unless she's speaking. So Cindy, that's something to know. Yeah, so when you, if we decide to do this, whether on your channel or mine, if you need to bring my attention to something, it's going to briefly flash to your face.
Okay. We can do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking
I try not to think about that, Gail, with the hot dogs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I don't eat too many hot dogs anymore now that I'm of a certain age because I tend to get lots of heartburn. Okay, everything's working now. And you know, and now that we're not trying to do a painting, Gail and Dee, I have to say, and Ian, the screen is not freezing. So I don't know. Art game. They have 10 screens. I don't know how to do that, Ian. If it's not like the simple way with you know, Google Hangout. I don't know how to do that. I have the worst time trying to figure out how to work encoders. And I should stop doing this with my head because you guys see all the white. I'm getting it fixed tomorrow, all the white roots.
I have to wait till December 1st.
Well, that's the person who was trying to call me at the end of the broadcast was my hairdresser because she had a cancellation tomorrow. Otherwise, I literally have to wait until the day before Thanksgiving or very late tomorrow afternoon. And I wasn't looking forward to either one of those because of traffic. So if you guys like this way of doing it and having Cindy or one of the other admins helping, or I might be occasionally on her channel when she's live doing this, then we will probably keep trying to do this. I do wish we could see, you know, her face in the live screen on YouTube without, you know, the whole screen flashing. I do wish we could. I don't know how to do that. But we can work with it how it is, can't we?
Yeah, we can work with it.
Now we're talking about food again. We must all be hungry. Do you do live, Cindy? Ian's asking.
Soon. I will very soon.
There will probably be some more testing videos like this one, probably from Cindy's end, so that she can test her equipment and everything and her internet connection. Although, you know, she, I think, lives out in the middle of nowhere in New York State and has a better internet connection than I do in the heart of Silicon Valley, which I find hilarious. I'm in the heart of computer country and have sucky service.
That's because there's so many people there, Gina.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
You got way too many people on that.
I think network. I have one. There are way too many, and I think I have one cell phone bar in my driveway, like in my driveway.
Well, I have a cell phone tower right behind the house, so.
Yeah, we have them all over, so you would think I would have better service, but you know. So who found who?
I don't know.
So Gail, who did you? Who are we talking about, Gail? Because I'm not sure.
I think she's talking about me.
Okay, so those of you who are trying to go live, and maybe this is a good thing that we're doing this, and maybe I'll change the title of the broadcast should YouTube decide to leave it on my channel. Sure. Mine bounces. What's bouncing? I don't know. You need to make sure that you have an upload speed of 2 bits per second or more. The more you have, the better your picture is going to be, the clearer it's going to be. Mine was almost 5 this morning, which is really good for my area and my internet connection. Cindy has way more than that. Like hers should be no problem.
It's funny, Gina, because I'm watching you on the Google Hangout where we're hooked up, and then I go to watch you on the YouTube, and there's such a lag that you're still talking on the YouTube.
Yeah, there is a delay, and you'll notice that no matter your internet connection, there's a few second delay between what I'm saying right now and what actually shows up on YouTube.
Okay.
And I don't know, Gail, what you're talking about. What's bouncing? I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just being me, but I'm confused. But yeah, and that's been, no matter how good or bad the connection is, there's still a few second delay. You can answer some of these questions if you want. There's one here from D.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I was looking at D. She was saying that she's new to mixed media scene. She was looking for journaling how-tos and found me.
Oh, the signal is bouncing, she said. For me, that's, anything's possible. I'm in the heart of computer country, so why would I have a steady signal?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
It's weird because I have to either watch the YouTube or I have to watch the Google Hangout.
Yeah.
That's just...
I try not to watch the computer too much and look at the chat, because it's definitely different. And I can't, as you just found out, we can't have, to have the viewer open to see the chat on the PC while we're doing this live, then that means that I can't shut the audio off, because then you can't hear me. Exactly. And I can't hear you. So I just can't have it open, because that's just, you get all that audio reverb. So.
Right. And I actually had to mute you on the YouTube so that I could hear you on the Google Hangout.
Yeah, and be aware, all of you who are viewing any live broadcast, that the sender could have a great connection and a clear signal and no problem, but if you don't have one, you're not going to get a clear view of what they're doing. That definitely happened to me recently, trying to watch one of Cinnamon Cooney's broadcasts, and my connection that day was so poor. It was less than 1 bit per second, and my whole thing kept freezing up. So it wasn't her, that was definitely me. And you can see where I scratched myself during the broadcast, because I just went like this. Thanks, Ow. Mom, for the tasty Irish skin.
Ouch.
So as I said earlier, those who are just joining us, Lisa and Muriel, we're not able to save the earlier live broadcast. I'm not sure what happened. It could have been me. It could have been YouTube, but I had problems with YouTube this morning trying to go live. So hopefully this one is saving. Cindy and I are going to try some new things and maybe try to be a live admin on each other's channel when we go live, which I think would be interesting. Yeah.
It would be nice if I would be able to help you with the comments and, with the questions without you having to do the art as well as try to keep up with everything else that's going on.
It's my dream to have a tech assistant during these broadcasts that can do that.
Is that what you're going to call me? A tech assistant? I don't know if I like that, Gina.
How about a co-conspirator?
That'll work. Well, as they like to call us, double trouble,
There you go. I know the husbands call us that, that's for sure.
They do. That they do. Okay, these guys, all right, what Gail and Dee were both talking about is that they're new to journaling.
And I know when I ended and my phone started ringing, Ian and some others were asking about waxing your pages. So maybe we should address that now. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't address it in the end of the broadcast, because we lost it anyway.
Yeah, they're waxing the pages for the watercolor.
Yeah, so when you're painting with acrylic and mixed media in general, yes, you should wax your pages. Mod Podge, Deco Page, acrylic paint, all of it to a certain extent stays sticky even after it's completely dry. It will stick to itself really well. So if you have 2 pages that have both decoupage on them, or one decoupage, one acrylic paint, and you close your book, they're going to stick together. So there's really only 2 ways to solve that problem. One is to stick wax paper in between your pages. And I still have some journals from the early days that have wax paper in between all the pages.
The other way,
wasn't until I saw
the other way I use.
Yeah. So I wasn't until a year or so later that I saw one of Shannon Green's videos where she talked about waxing her pages. And I'd been looking for something to use that was non-toxic. And she told us all about this product, Daddy Van's beeswax, which is a furniture polish. It works great on your mixed media pages.
There's really no smell to it either. Smells like wax, but other than that, you know, there's no perfumey smell. And this is all I've used. This is all I've ever used. And I really like it. I've never had an issue with my pages sticking once I put this down.
No, and you just get a little bit of it on a soft cloth or a paper towel, and you literally just wipe it on your pages. I see that about the sound. Let me check my mic. But it could be, we have 2 people on the broadcast. It could be coming from either end, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot about it, so. Cody's saying we can use a white candle.
Yeah, so
you just take that white candle and, yeah, just take the white candle and rub it across your paper.
You can do that. And like I said, you can just stick wax paper in between the pages. That works great. I do recommend you do something. Now, if on your pages you have charcoal pencil or pastel or gelato, I recommend before you do anything that you spray the page with a spray fixative, either an aerosol one or a non-aerosol one, but give it 2 or 3 light coats of the spray fixative, let it dry in between coats, then wax the page. Otherwise, what's going to happen when you put the wax on, it is going to smear it all over the place.
Yeah, I've done that with Stabilo pencils. I've forgotten that I used it on the page, and I go to wax it. Oh, crap.
Yep.
It happens.
Ian at the end of the broadcast asked about waxing your watercolor pages. Now, I never wax my watercolor pages. If I use wax on my pages, it's because I'm using it as a resist before I even start painting. And I actually have to do that later today for a project for my daughter's work. But anyway, I would recommend on your watercolor, they should be sealed and protected like any other artwork. You should, with a spray, let me see if I can find what I use. Hold on. I think it's in the closet.
Honestly, that's something I've never done a whole lot of is watercolor, and someday I will get into it. I have enough of the paints, so.
So a good spray that's good, it's good on watercolor. It's probably good on other stuff. I only ever use it on watercolor though, is by Krylon, and it's a UV archival varnish, matte varnish. I'm sitting in front of the window, so, you know, talk about glare. There we go. So UV archival matte varnish, and it's good. And I got it at Hobby Lobby. Now it was $10.99, but you use a coupon. That's what I did. And see, my screen is frozen again because, you know.
Gina, would one of the questions is, would standard beeswax do? I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, yes. So Daddy Vans is like 98% or something beeswax. That's really all it is. So if you have, it's really high. I thought it was like 98% or something, 90%.
I'm gonna have to put my eyeballs on.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
It doesn't say, it just says unscented beeswax, all natural.
I didn't think there was actually anything else in it, or not very much of anything else.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go on the bottom. Naturally chemical and solvent free, no petroleum byproducts. It is made with unrefined beeswax, olive oil, and carnauba wax. C-A-R-N-A-U-B-A wax.
Yeah, but I don't know why, if you have access to 100% natural beeswax, I don't know why you couldn't use that. And I, like Cindy, I like the Daddy Vans because it's unscented. And those of you who are watching me for a while know I have asthma, and one of my triggers is scents, which is so sad because I used to love perfume and I had a big perfume collection. Can't wear any of it anymore. But this has no scent in it, so I love it because it doesn't smell and it doesn't make me wheeze. Yeah, see, Ian's fine, but Ian has some kind of big supercomputer with like lots of RAM memory, and that's probably why his isn't freezing. I'm watching on my iPad. Now, my iPad is good, but it's not that great. It doesn't have lots of memory. That may be why it keeps freezing.
Ian, do you think the beeswax, you said the beeswax is a bit yellow. Do you think it would actually turn our pages yellow, a tint of yellow? I'm just curious. It's funny. I'm watching the YouTube video and you're still talking away.
The other thing you could use that I use on my canvases is not a natural product, but I do like it, is the Deco Art Cream Wax. Now, it's a liquid, so you could just brush it on and give it a light coating, but I love it when it's dry. It's permanent. It's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't stick to anything, and it's clear.
Okay, Gail's got to go. Good luck, Gail. Have fun with your appointment, and you got to have those happy pills. It's always good.
Yeah, good luck, Gail. Yeah, definitely get happy pills.
Nancy's saying that the beeswax does not turn hers yellow, and Ian has said that they have seen some that do.
Okay, there is another product that you can use, and I don't know if I can find mine right now because, you know, why would I be able to do that? Oh, here it is. All right, so there is another product you can use. You use it the same way you use Daddy Vans, but I will tell you, this is a lot more expensive. You need to wear gloves. This is in no way, shape, or form a natural product. It does have a little bit of an odor, so I use it with open windows. This is Dorland's wax. You get it, and again, look at the glare. So you have to get it online or from the art supply store. Michael's is not going to have it. It is meant for encaustic, but it is a wax, and it dries hard and permanent. You know, the beeswax will reactivate when it gets warm. This won't. And it's like all chemicals. Let's see.
What's it called?
Dorland's, Dorlands. Dorland's wax medium. Harmful or fatal if swallowed. See, that's what I mean. Put gloves on. It has a flash point, so you can't use it near you know, anything hot.
No, I think I'll just stick with Daddy Vans.
And I don't even know that it says on here anywhere what it's made out of. Oh, wait, it does say. So the reason it has all those things on it, it's got mineral spirits as the first ingredient. Mineral spirits, paraffin wax, Damar resin, microcrystalline wax, beeswax, there's a little bit, and oscarite wax, which I don't even know what that is.
Gina, Cody is asking, how do you preserve your acorns before you use them?
Before I paint them, you mean?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was just reading a comment that Gail says. She says, I knew you looked a little bit off without your eyeballs.
Yeah.
You guys are all blurry.
So if you are picking up yeah, I know, right? So if you're picking up acorns like from your backyard or your neighborhood, then you really need to dry them and wash them cleanly before you start doing anything with them. I really try not to pick up any with like wormholes in them because you don't want bugs in your acorns. So you really need to like sit them out somewhere, really dry them out. I'd really kind of recommend, if you're going to do painted acorns, you know, pick them up a couple of months in advance, leave them in a warm, dry place, wash them off, and just leave them sit and like really dry out. That's the number one. If they have a shiny kind of slick surface, you might actually need to sand the nuts a little bit. Oh, as I'm saying that sounds so bad. Okay, sorry, my brain went to a not nice place. So God. So you probably want to sand them a little bit to get the slick finish off of them. Now, that being said, there are lots of places you can buy acorn nuts. And I did end up buying a few on Etsy. And if you do that, they're already dry. But in some cases, they varnished them. So then you still want to sand them a little bit.
Notice, girls, notice, and Ian, notice that came from Gina. The bad thoughts are from Gina.
Oh my God. So you want to sand them a little bit to get the finish off. If you really want it to stay really well, if they're just natural and they're not too shiny, then you're probably fine. I didn't sand. The ones I bought don't have any varnish on them. They don't seem too slick, so they seem to be fine. And then it's just a matter of painting them, which we're going to go over in the video that's coming out. And I'm probably going to do a live broadcast on Monday. But there will be a video too. It's already scheduled to come out, but not until after Thanksgiving.
Gina says, or I'm sorry, Ian says another thing you do is soak them in varnish.
Soak what in varnish?
Then the acorns.
The nuts. So you could actually soak them in varnish remover, and get the finish off of them, and really, or liquid sandpaper or something. And then when you're done painting them, you definitely want to give them a coat of varnish or something. I used what I have laying around the studio, but you want to give them a clear coat of something to protect the paint that you've done to them.
Mm-hmm. Ian was also asking, how about a resin as a protection?
You could do that. Again, I don't work with resin because of my asthma, but I think if you have resin and you can work with it, I think it's something that would be fun to experiment, both on your journal pages and something like the painted acorns. They'd be fun coated in a resin, especially if, let me get the acorns out. Let's see. So when you get acorns, whether you get them from nature or you get them from a shop, you want to see if you can get the caps off. The first batch I got, I couldn't get the caps off. And this batch, some of them come off, and some of them don't. So why are you
taking your caps off?
Yeah. So, because it's easier to paint the nut part. Yeah. You don't want to get paint on this part. So after these are painted, then you just glue the caps back on.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a lot more fiddly if you have to do it with the caps on. But once you get this painted, you could coat it in resin or coat it in, clear varnish or something, and then just hot glue it back into the cap.
Dee is asking what encaustic is.
Encaustic is a
wax.
It's a painting medium that involves layers of colored wax or layers of wax with color in between them.
Yeah, it's very messy.
There's a lot of videos on YouTube on it. It's really fascinating. I don't do it because you have to use this kind of stuff, and I use this very sparingly because it makes me wheeze.
You have another question from Amy. She's asking, she's looking for a podcast for art or watercolor. What do you recommend?
A podcast?
I don't watch any podcasts.
I don't really either, but I know like Kyla Givehand does all kinds of different podcasts and Google Plus chats and stuff like that. I'd recommend checking her out or people she's associated with because she does a lot of that sort of thing. I also think Clive 5 Art may do podcasts or Google Plus live things or something like that.
Okay.
I don't have time to watch podcasts, so I'm not sure who to recommend because I have like no spare time for anything like that.
I hear you. We have this design team boss. She's always making us do lots of work, and Ian's asking if.
I want to say, everybody who's offended by foul language, cover your ears right now. Forewarning. But oh my God, what a bitch!
She is, isn't she? Ian would like to know if acrylic works with resin.
Yeah, it does. And you know who could answer that? And by the way, in case, those of you who don't get the joke about the design team boss, I'm talking about myself. Just in case some of you are not aware of that. Actually, one of our sister partners in art here that could probably best answer that, who's the one who's not here right now, which is Jerry Bellini, because she works a lot with resin. And I'm trying to get her to do like one live broadcast a month. I think it would be fabulous to get a peek into her creative space. But I don't know why acrylic wouldn't work with resin. Now, Craft Clatch does Coaster Friday, and she does a lot of her coasters, which involve acrylic paint and collage and all kinds of stuff. And she uses resin. I love her channel. I wish I could work with resin. It makes me interested.
I know Jerry does a lot of different aspects of art that I haven't delved into. She does a lot of her metal working with the cans. She's done a lot of art with the bottle caps. She had a beading shop, so she's got so many different techniques of beading. It would be fantastic to get Jerry on here.
It would be. And this, you can add as many people to this as you want to. So there's no reason why, brainstorming here, Cindy, write this down. Why couldn't we have some sort of monthly or bi-monthly art, I don't know what we would call it, but a little live art meeting, and answer questions like this. Why couldn't we do this?
That'd be a great idea.
And then I have to tell you this. Are you reading the chat? Lisa O says, if you go back a little bit, no one needs fiddly nuts.
Eve's like, you're back again.
Yeah. So I think the podcasts, Amy, are a great idea. And if anybody has ideas for good podcasts to watch or listen to while you're doing your art, suggestions either in this chat or over in the Facebook group or both.
D just says, yes, Cindy, write this down. Yeah, that's my boss talking again. I told you. I got to write it down. No worries, Gina, I got you. But that's a great idea. We really should do this. We should have, even with the design team members, or even, once a month feature a different artist, somebody that works.
Maybe one of the people who's watching right now, if they have the ability to go live on the internet.
Adam, and, let's talk about you doing caustic art. Let's talk about it. Tell us about it. What, we can, why not?
I think it's a good idea.
Especially now that we know that we can actually talk while other people are with us, which I think was a huge bonus for us today to figure this out.
I think so too. And like Eve is saying, as long as you don't mind us hanging around and listening in, that would be the point, Eve. that would be the point. We want to answer your questions. The Mind of Watercolor, Ian, is a fabulous channel. One of my favorite watercolor channels out there.
Dee doesn't want to be on live.
You don't have to be, no problem.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, heck, if I can do it. I'm the one who had to, when I graduated high school, like a million years ago, you had to take speech to graduate. You had to pass speech class or you couldn't graduate. It was required. I couldn't do it. I think I took it twice. I failed the first time. The speech teacher gave me a D because she felt so bad. And a D then was a passing grade. So she gave me a D in the class so that I could graduate because she felt so bad. I just couldn't do it. Look at me now. I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's because you're sitting in a room all by yourself talking to your computer.
Exactly. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I know, because I'm sitting in my room all by myself talking to my computer.
Yeah, because if I have to do this live and in person, if it's all of you guys and we're talking about art, I'm okay. It's when I'm just standing up there and everybody's staring at me. And
you mean like giving presentations like I used to have to do at work? Standing up in front of a bunch of executives.
Explaining art to you, I can do it. But if I'm just speaking and doing a presentation in front of a crowd, it's not good.
I didn't have any problems doing the presentations as long as I knew the subject. If I knew the subject from start to finish, I have no problem. I can stand up there and answer all your questions. But what really annoyed me is if I, was given a presentation and I didn't know all the answers, I didn't like being up there. So if it's a subject matter I can learn everything about, I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's get it done. So.
Or if I was being forced to do a presentation without proper preparation, something, and this has happened to me in the past, explain or teach something that's contrary to what I believe to be true, I have a problem with that. And it ends up usually not being a great presentation.
Okay, Ian.
Not because I don't try, just because I don't get it.
Right, right. Ian just says he can rig up a webcam up and you can have several people up on screen at once with Google Hangout.
Okay, Ian, you're going to have to send us some instructions because we only know how to do it this way.
Yeah.
And, it would be nice if we can get it over to YouTube easily. That's the thing, is I know how to do it just on Google Hangout. We do that. We've done that before. But let me try something. No, it won't work. I won't see your screen. I know how to do it on Google Plus and Google Hangout, but to do it have it be the way we're doing now on YouTube, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. Hey, Cody, how did that presentation and speech class go?
Yeah. Mine didn't go well.
It's funny because years ago when I was younger, I had a lot of problems. But like I said, once I got into the position I was in before my injury, I learned a lot about standing up in front of executives and giving speeches and answering questions. And Art Zoology, welcome. She wants to learn how to do YouTube Live.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yay. We would love to see you live. And this started out to be a test because Cindy is thinking about going live next year. Woohoo. And we were brainstorming an idea to have her be sort of a live helper on my channel. And I'll do the same on hers when we're live so that we don't have to like monitor the chat while we're creating art because it's really difficult. I think we figured it out. Ian may have a little bit of improvements we can do. So we're going to hopefully get some email from him.
Absolutely.
The first thing, Art Zoology, that you need to have is good internet connection. You need to have your download speed doesn't really matter for live broadcast. It's the upload speed. You need to have more than 2 bits per second to have a decent upload. More than 4 is the best. I had almost 5 this morning. Cindy, of course, who lives in the middle of nowhere in New York State, had way more than me.
Yeah, because I'm the only crazy one at home during the day on the internet.
Right? And I'm in Silicon Valley, so like everybody works from home around here.
I'm sorry, I pronounced her name wrong. I'm sorry. Artsology. Artsology. Artsology.
Artsology, right?
I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I apologize.
Deb at Artsology. And the other thing you need to have is a good camera and a good mic. Now, I just posted something over in Jerry Bellini's Facebook group, My Arts and Parts. So if you are a member of that group, go over to Facebook and ask to join. She did add it to her files because she thought I've been posting little art business and YouTube tips over there. And I'm no expert. I get stuff wrong all the time. But when I figure out something that works for me, I share it. In case you didn't know that already, I am oversharer. But you need to have the good internet connection. That's the number one thing. You also need to have a good camera. So I use the Logitech C920 HD webcam, which we're looking at right now. And it's on a 16-foot cable so that I can take it from the desktop where it is right now. And when I need to, I can move it over to the work table. And I actually have a tripod one of these things. Back of the webcam, it screws in. There's a little hole on the back of the webcam that it can screw into, this is the same one on the camera, so that I can hook it into the tripod that's over the table. And I also have the one thing about the C920 is it has a horrible mic. You'll know that I've been live here for a while. We've had issues with the mic on and off the whole time. The camera is great, the mic is horrible. So I did buy a snowball mic by the company Blue. They have a couple of different mics. They're not cheap, but I got the snowball because it's not only cute, it's the lesser expensive of the two, and it looks like a white snowball. And it also is on a 16-foot cable, so I can take them off my desk and move them across the room to the art desk and broadcast, and then when I'm done, I move them back. So you need good equipment and you need a good internet connection.
Gina, what was the name of the site that you gave me to check my speed?
Speedtest.net by Ookla, Ookla. And that's in the article over in my Arts and Parts.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out what your speed is for your internet, I didn't know where. Gina told me that this morning, and now she's jealous.
Now, if you test your connection over on speed test and the upload is not great, you can have it ping a different, I don't know, I want to say cell tower, but we're talking about internet connection, so it's not a cell tower. And I only know enough with computers to be dangerous. Server, it's a server. So it'll ping another server, and you can keep pinging other servers and having it change. There is an option after your test is over. There's a little option to the left that says to change servers, and you can click on that one and then begin the test again, and it'll pick a different server to see if you can get a better connection.
Trisha's on.
And yeah, and it's got a quick release, so I can just quickly release it and put it away and switch cameras out if I want to. So yeah, it's just, this lives here, and I have another one that lives on the other camera. And for my filming camera, this is what I use. It is a Canon Vixia HFR600. Again, it's white. I have this thing for white cameras. I don't know, and equipment.
My camera, I don't know if I have the information in here or not. I know I used to have it in my other planner. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Don't get me singing, Gina.
Hey, I sang earlier.
Yeah, you didn't sing very long, though.
No, thank God. That would scare everybody away. It's funny too, because I used to be in choir in school. I can't carry a note, so I don't know what anybody was thinking.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I was also in choir. I made it to all county choir, and I was supposed to be a soprano. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right.
I think all the priests in the Catholic school that I went to were all tone deaf or something. I don't know. Okay, so your cell phone is okay. And when I started doing YouTube, I used my phone or my iPad. I had a iPhone 4, and before that, I had an iPad 2. The cameras weren't great. I also used to use a Kodak Play Sport, which is really not a great camera, but it got me on YouTube. And if you look at some of the older videos and you wonder why the picture's so bad, that would be why. I didn't switch to HD cameras until 2014 when I started teaching with Claudia Rossi. So it's a recent development. And I have to say, I didn't understand why I needed an HD camera. And then when Claudia talked me into it and said, you really should do this, when I got one, I went, oh my God, why didn't I do this earlier? So much better picture. And I feel the same way about the snowball mic.
I can't find the specs on my camera, so I'll have to bring that up in future. I have no idea where it is. In the process of
we have an
planners.
old camcorder Ian around here somewhere that takes full-size videotape. So we have lots of old equipment around. And that's a great upload speed, Artsology. That would get you. I'm operating right now with a little bit less than that. So yeah. So the newer, if you have a newer camera, like this is an iPhone 6, the cameras are much more improved. So if you have an iPhone 4 still, and I do know some people who do, I probably recommend you do some test video and see how it is. But if you have a newer cell phone, it's probably fine.
Eve, you can do that. You can. She says it's a hassle to set things up right. It is a hassle, but once you get things set up, I actually have a setup up here. My camera is hooked to a tripod, which is torn down and hooked to a piece of wood, which is hooked to the front of my shelf I have right here. But once you get things set up, it's so much easier.
I'm gonna move my camera just a little bit. Let's see if I can.
You're going up.
All right. Yeah. So now you just see the top of my head. So, and I'm going to zoom in just a tad, and then I'm going to come over here. So you guys all see this gray thing in the background? Mm-hmm. This is a tripod. It's a small one. I get asked about this all the time. So it's a tripod like this one, and it is tie wrapped to the shelf above my work table. And again, it has the quick release, and both of my cameras have the same mount on it, so I can just quickly release them and put them on here, and they both face down to the table. If I need to, I have a spare one, and I can set it up, you know, outside or something like that. But yeah, I just use the same tripod for everything, and it's got this quick release thing. And it's just, all right. I mean, that's low tech.
Since you're showing yours, Gina, I will actually show mine. I have to move my laptop. This is my
sorry for making you dizzy. Sorry.
I have a shelf here. Then my husband made this wonderful little wooden brace. And you can't see the wooden brace because there's so much junk hanging from it. And here's my camera. Mm-hmm. That is one of them. The other one, you probably cannot see. It's way over there. There's a white light. There's another camera mounted over there, and that one is just on a tripod. So that's mounted over at my paint table, and this one is mounted at my desk right here. Now I gotta put you down because you're heavy.
Yeah, so low tech, and before I go back and look at the questions, I want to say, so if you're filming with your phone, get one of these like handy dandy cell phone holders, and there's a million different kinds out there. You don't have to get this exact one. This one fits my iPhone. Okay, now and you'll never see it back there, so I'm not going to even try and show you. But if you're going to film with your phone, you want to have it facing out the back, because generally on most phones, the camera facing out the back gives you a way better picture than facing out the front. And that's not the first time I've dropped my phone. So my husband took one of these and he drilled a hole in the base, and we bolted it to the shelf next to the tripod. So if I'm filming with my phone, all I have to do is stick my phone in here, and it's right there facing down at the table. Mm-hmm. So just low tech. And this was $1.50 at the Japanese dollar store. I also have a pair of the purple hands that Cindy gave me that would hold my iPad or my phone, and those could be tie wrapped to the table. Also, where are my purple hands? They're there. So purple hands, and they hold your phone or your iPad, and you could definitely tie wrap them to the shelf in a way that holds your device, your camera. The only thing with this is you're going to want to make sure when you put your device in there that you don't cover up the camera lens.
Yep, or the speaker if you're going to use that speaker.
Yep. So you want to like do it like this, and you could definitely tie wrap that to, you know, your shelf. So, and these, you know, none of these are expensive. So you want to, you know, it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money.
Take care, Lisa.
See you later, Lisa.
Well, Gina and I have learned a lot on this session. How about you guys?
And yeah, it's good if you can get a camera like I mean a tripod like Ina's saying with an arm on it. This is a cheap tripod. This is like $10, if that. And you know, the legs are bendy. And when it breaks, I just order another one.
Yeah, the tripods I got that I actually had torn apart. This one's torn apart. I only paid like $10 for it, I think, on Amazon. And like I said, I've got 2 of them. So I've got my other one that I've left whole, so I can actually move that around if I need to.
You also can sometimes find things like tripods at the thrift store, or maybe you have somebody in the family who's into photography, but maybe they have a tripod they're not using. My daughter has, I think, 2 or 3 tripods. So if I really needed and I've got my own now at this point, but if I really needed one, I could get one from her.
Cody says they wouldn't hold her camera. She has an active and bulky case.
So you definitely would want to get a tripod that's going to hold that camera. And Cody, and just rig something. I think that's perfect. We all rigged something. When I first started filming, I literally had my iPad like I use books. Who is it that still uses books? Somebody big. Graveyard Girl, I think. She doesn't have a tripod. Her camera, I think, is on books or something.
Claudia has for a long time. She would stick hers in between the books or in a drawer of one of her plastic shelves.
Yeah, and I did that for years when I first got on YouTube.
Cody's got 3 tripods, and they all have to be rigged to work. Sony Handycam.
So I would rig one or a combination of parts from the different ones to make one rig that you can leave mounted, and then when you want to film, you just put the camera on it. That's what I did. That's why I have my tripod tie wrapped to my shelf. It just always stays there, and when I want to film, I just stick the camera on there. And it's also not in my way when I don't want to film. It's out of the way. And I think Claudia uses a Sony Handycam still.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any other questions about setups or anything else that Gina and I can help you with?
Takes a minute.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where my specs are for my camera, so I'm gonna have to find those.
That's okay. I couldn't find my Windows 7 disk from my computer we just let go. And so we have to borrow it. We have to get a disk from somebody, buy a disk from somebody to reload Windows.
One question was, do we use a remote to Zoom? I do not. My camera is set up so that I can just reach up and I can zoom it in or out. I try not to do it when I'm actually recording live because I don't want people to get seasick. Sometimes I do though, but no, mine I just reach. Gina?
Mine is set up the same way. So, because it faces this way to my table, the lens is here. Here's the zoom in and zoom out. So when I'm filming, I can just zoom in and zoom out. Now, when I'm live, I'm using the HD webcam we're using right now. And yeah, the lighting is funny because I'm sitting in front of the window. I have to, when you guys ask, can you zoom in or can you zoom out? I have to walk away from the table over there and come over here and use the little like dealy bob. Zoom in and zoom out. Not that you see that because you're looking at the table, but I don't use any remotes. This one didn't come with one. My old camera did, and I never used it.
Another question is about lighting. I actually went to a local art store. I don't know if I can bring one down enough. And I have these little lights here on arms, and I have 2 of them that I adjust onto my workspace when I'm recording. I have one over on my paint desk, the same thing. I also have, one of the things I have done, and it's just a good tip for you guys, is don't put regular bulbs in your lights. Find a daylight bulb. All of my bulbs in my house at this point are daylight bulbs, and they give such a better picture of what you're working on. If you change one in your house, look at that one and look at another light you turn on. The other one is so yellow, it's crazy. So if you're going to put lights on, use daylight bulbs. And Gina, also,
and if you see,
top of your forehead.
See behind me, there's a light clipped to my shelf back there.
Yep.
There's one on either end of my work desk. There's also another one you won't see that's in the corner. I'm going to move this down so you're not seeing my forehead. There's another one you won't see that's in the corner, like over that way. And there's actually one right here on my desk I can use. They all have daylight bulbs in them. The daylight bulb will give you the brightest, clearest, most true light that will give you the most true view of the color that you're working with. So yeah, daylight. I have daylight bulbs. Even there is a ceiling fixture in this room. It doesn't give off great light, but there is a daylight bulb in there.
Yeah, all of my lights, including my new studio. I just went and bought all daylights to put in my studio as well.
So Eve, I have 2 lights that are generally pointed down onto my table to focus light on my table. I have another one that's a little farther away that's still pointed at the table, and then the overhead light. Now, sometimes if I'm working on really wet media, as you guys have seen in some of the broadcasts, the lights glare off of the water. There's not a lot I can do about it. I've tried moving the lights. There's really nothing. Even if I turn off all the lights pointed at the table, you still get a glare from the overhead light because of the water. But that's the best way, is to have lights pointed at your table. Now, if you have enough room to have lights with fancy photo diffusers and things on them, you should probably do something like that. Talk to a photographer. If you are lucky enough like me, I've got, I think, 3 of them in the family. And if I wanted to know the proper kind of photo diffusing light to get, then that's probably the best thing to do. Most of us don't have the budget for that.
Gina, you've got some love from Greece.
Cool. Thank you. Greece is on my bucket list someday.
Actually, you know, it's funny. It's funny you just said that, because Jeff and I were talking the other night, and Jeff is my husband. We were talking the other night, and he said something about, we were talking about how we want to travel the U.S. once he retires, and something came on, and they had, where's the place that's got the canal? Venice?
Yeah, Venice.
Venice, Italy. He's like, you know, I wouldn't mind going there. And I'm like, whoa, cool.
Well, I have to go there soon. My family still owns a house in Moriano, which is near Lucca.
Is it rentable?
Yes.
All right, we got to talk, girl.
So you let me know. I'll make the phone calls.
Ian says try bouncing.
And that's a good idea. So yeah, Ian's saying we can try bouncing light off tinfoil. I think that's an interesting idea, and we should do some kind of like live testing experiments with bouncing light off of tinfoil to a wet surface, like on a live broadcast. See what happens. That would be interesting.
That you know, I never thought of that, but that would be interesting to see how it, you know, what it does. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Do we have more questions? I have got more.
You know, I bought myself one of these journals, Cindy, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I found this for Cindy and I at a local Japanese bookstore, and look at the title on it.
Live a life you love. I like that.
I don't need another journal. Like, I'm not supposed to be buying journals, but I couldn't resist it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for either.
I don't know what I'm going to do with mine either.
I haven't decided yet.
I also found some receipts. I also found this one, which I got us. It says, "Say things to the world that are," by Pablo Picasso. Sorry, Pablo Casals. I don't know who that is. But anyway, it's this journal that looks like this. It's lined. It's just a basic lined journal. But it has different quotes in it. "There can be no success or happiness if the things we believe in are different from the things we do."
That one is actually going to be my next personal journal. Okay, and I'm not going to say her name again. Deb wants to know how to get started with live streaming. I don't want to mess it up, Deb. That's why. So how do you get started with live streaming, Gina?
Okay, so you have to go to your creator. What is it called? The page where you get your video manager and your dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called?
It's Creator Studio, isn't it?
Yeah. So you want to go log into your channel, go to, and I'm not looking at Cindy right now, and I'm not looking at chat. So I'm going to do this while I'm telling you guys. I typed this all out in Jerry Bellini's Facebook group, My Arts and Parts, FYI. It is over there. You don't have to search for it. You can go to her files. She created a file for it. But you go to your Creator Studio on your YouTube channel. Click on live streaming. And then if you want to work with the encoding software and downloading encoders and all of that stuff, and I'm not going to explain what that is because I don't really understand it. To be perfectly honest, I don't really understand it, and I tried working with it, and it just seems like really the hard way to do things, in my opinion. But go to, once you are there, then go to events. Then up in the upper right hand corner, new live event. That window will come up, and when it does come up, let's see if I can do it without screwing anything up. Yep. Okay, when it does come up, you can give it a title. You can schedule it for a specific day and time. Your automatic defaults you have for your channel as far as description and keywords go should already be there because they should automatically load. You can add a message to your video and make sure you check the monetization if you're monetizing your channel. And then you can either save it or go live now. Today it wasn't letting me save, and it wasn't letting me then go into the saved one and go live with that saved one. So I hit go live now. And when you hit go live now, you're doing it through Google Hangout, the quick way, unless you hit the custom, change the type. Underneath where you put your message, there's a type, and it says quick or custom. I always use quick, which you use Google Hangouts on air. Now, when you hit go live, you're not actually live. So when you hit go live, then the Google Hangout screen is going to pop up. And it'll load at the bottom, and you'll get a little dial that says 1%, 3%, 5%, you know. Once that is loaded, then there's a button that'll turn up green that says to start the broadcast. If you want to invite somebody to do the broadcast with you, like I did Cindy today, scroll your mouse over the viewing window where you see your face, and look for the little person at the top with the plus sign next to them, and that's what you click on to invite people. Once they're invited, they're loaded, you figured out you both have good internet connections, then you can hit the start broadcast button. And then when you're done, hit stop broadcast, and it's supposed to save it to your YouTube channel. I had some problems with that this morning. I lost my broadcast, but that happens every now and then, either because I hit the delete button by accident or there's some problem with YouTube. You want to make sure, of course, as we've discussed, that you have a good internet connection, a good upload speed, and that will save you from having a lot of problems. Did I miss anything? Oh, I did miss something. So you want to save yourself a lot of hassle. You aren't going to be able to easily watch your broadcast on your desktop while you're broadcasting. You can go in and do it in the I never do it this way. I just find it easier the other way. So after you start your broadcast, you should be able to go in and you should be able to go in and see the chat without actually watching the broadcast, but I find that really confusing, and that's probably me. I own that. There's probably an easy way to do it. I never do it that way. I always have my iPad with me, and I always watch my broadcast on the iPad, so that's how I see your chat. Only way I know on the desktop, then I hear my voice and you get a lot of audio reverb, and it's just not, yeah, it's not good.
All right, I think I'm confused on the conversation of the chat that's going on right now, because we were talking about, Ian was talking about on how to do a how-to video on how to do live videos. And then Deb was asking where to go to get this. And she was asking if it was on my Facebook page. Yes, I do. Hold on. Sorry.
Okay, so I have some YouTube while Cindy's typing, I have some YouTube 101 videos to get started on YouTube that are already part of my channel. If you search for YouTube 101, there's already some videos there. I think there's a couple that are either already out or coming out that have to do with like creating iMovie thumbnails, stuff like that. I haven't done a video on going live. This will be the first one. So we will probably be retitling this one live streaming on YouTube or something like that, and / testing. And there is written instructions on how I go live. I am not claiming to be an expert. This is what works for me. Only do things wrong. So, you know, there's probably a better way, but this is what works for me with the equipment I have. And
not necessarily, Gina. It's the way you've learned how to do it, and there's nothing
wrong. It's the way I've learned how to do it, and it's the easy way. I just do not have the patience for anything super complicated. That just doesn't work for me. So I've already typed out the written instructions on how to do this step by step over in Jerry Bellini's group, which is called My Arts and Parts. And it is in her files. After I made the post, she took it and copied it and created a file about the post because she thought it was another, you know, art biz tip that needed to be in her files.
Okay, so the how to stream live. Okay, all right.
And I detail to go in to check your speed, what equipment I use, how I use it, and I always watch the chat and the stream on my iPad. I have 3 YouTube accounts. I always log into my own broadcast with one of my other accounts other than the one I broadcast with. And I watch it on the iPad. See, there I am. And I just make sure you turn the sound off because you'll still get the audio reverb if you have all your sound on. And frequently my phone is in the office, so make sure you turn the sound off on the phone.
What's funny is because right now the way I've got it set up, I'm actually on my laptop. I have a file open, which is our Google Hangout, where I can see you. And then I have another tab open, which is the YouTube stream, which I had to mute that one because I was hearing backlog and everything else. Yeah. So right now I'm hearing you in real time, and then I'm just watching the chat on the YouTube, which is muted.
There's a delay. There's a few second delay between what I'm saying to Cindy right now and what you guys are going to see at the moment on YouTube.
Exactly.
Like right now, I'm seeing Cindy's face.
Yeah, I'm chatting with my hands. I look like I'm Italian.
Yeah, see? That'll be me. And you can do that. You know, if you have, I don't, you know, so I don't, it's easier for me to just use the iPad. But you can do it the way Cindy does. But you have to have a way to see the chat. Otherwise, you can't answer the questions.
There's me. There's you.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny. Ian, if you still want to do the video on how to get us, you know, a bunch of people together on this Google Hangout via YouTube, we'd love to see that. To figure out how to do that. But I think the actual live streaming, I think Gina got that pretty much set up, and that's the information that she was talking about on Jerry's Facebook page.
But, you know, if there's a way to do something a little differently or a little better, or like have one of these live stream chats with lots of people, especially Ian, if we could figure out how to do it and have all the little pictures of everybody, you know, be across the bottom. I don't know how to do that. I only know how to do it this way. So when Cindy speaks, it flashes to her face. When I'm speaking, it's my face. And in between, you don't see the other person at the bottom. I don't know how to set it up that way. And I have an iMac, by the way. So that probably makes it harder for everybody. The instructions are different.
Dee's back. She got the monkey off the bus. Yeah, my little monkey, my little munchkin, turned 7 years old yesterday. It was so
Oh,
funny
wow.
because I called her up and I said, it's your birthday? She says, yep. I said, how old are you? She says, I'm 7. I said, you're 12? No, Grandma. I said, oh, you're 5. She goes, no, I'm 12. Grandma, I'm 7. So I had her all messed up at how old she was. But yeah, can you believe that? 7 years old already. It's crazy.
Time flies.
Oh, she's my girl.
And we're gonna do our best to keep this up, and hopefully it won't be me or YouTube screwing up either one. Right now it is showing up that it's there on my YouTube channel. So yeah. As soon as I'm gonna switch to my video manager, and yeah, hopefully it will show up here, and I will edit the title because I think this should be in the YouTube 101 playlist.
Yeah, definitely.
Any more questions from anybody?
I'm still this afternoon got a whole lot of nothing done, Gina.
Well, I'm supposed to be, and those of you who don't know, because you weren't on the last broadcast or anything, we're in the midst of some redecorating and remodeling, and I'm supposed to be packing up the front of the house because the electrical is going to get started this weekend, and painting is being done the first weekend in December. And
all right, what in your crazy mind decided to do this right before Christmas, girlfriend?
I know, right? Yeah, I don't know.
You could have waited till January 2nd.
No, actually, I know why, because Bob has, my husband works in the computer industry. He works for Lam Research, LAM, and those of you who don't know what that is, this is the smart way of saying what they do. They make capital semiconductor equipment. I don't really know what that is, but this is how the idiots like me know what they do. They make the big machines that make the little wafers, that make the little chips that go in everything. He works a lot of hours, and he has 2 weeks, though, off at Christmas time. So that means while I have him home at Christmas, he can not only help me put the rooms back together, but now he's talking about during those 2 weeks having somebody come in and do the floors. Like, I think he's insane, but
hey, you know what? Get it done when you can get it done.
yeah, but that would be why, because he's going to be home for 2 weeks right around Christmas.
Gotcha.
And it's just the two of us. We're empty nesters. The daughter moved out. We'll put up lights outside and stuff like that, but it's just the two of us. So
Yeah.
if we don't get much of the decorations put up, it's not that big a deal.
Well, I'm not pushing my husband, but I'm praying to be in my art studio by December. Well, middle of December. He's got the ceiling done. He's got 1/2 of a wall done. Then we have to do the walls themselves. And then he is going to build me my table. I am going to have a 12x4 table with electric in the middle of it. And then, well, we have to put down the floors also. We have to put down the underlay and then the flooring. Then I can start packing up all this mess and start moving in there and getting things the way I want it. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
Soon.
it's just, it's a good time of year to do these things, especially if you're not one of the families that entertains everybody in creation over the holidays. Actually, we go everywhere else. So it's actually, and like I said, our daughter doesn't live at home. So, and he's going to be here. I do have to, I'm here all the time. So I'm the one who has to pack up all the books and, the knickknacks. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, do I really want to pack this and unpack this? Do I really want to keep this? Maybe I should just go to Goodwill. So there's some of that going on too. I mean, we've been in the house since 1992. So you accumulate lots of shit when, the longer you're in the house. See, there I am swearing again.
He's a bad influence.
But yeah, so
it's her, it's not me.
No, it's me. I've done it 3 times now. Sorry. We talked about nuts. I called myself a bitch, and now I just said shit. So, I do have a potty mouth. You guys don't see that on camera because I try to keep it clean, but.
What, the trucker's mouth?
Yeah.
That's me.
You hurt us in Las Vegas. It wasn't good.
It was fun, though.
It was fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any more questions? Right now? Gina and I are just sitting here chatting.
Yeah. We were going to sit and chat anyway, and then we thought, ooh, maybe we should test this. And that's how this got started. And yeah, Dion, I am not looking forward to the messy part of the renovation. And there will be some sheetrock work, blah, 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 sheetrock work going on because, you know, the house is built in 1969. So we've got some, you know, cracks in some of the sheetrock seams. So they've got to be repaired, which means they have to be scraped out first. And, you know, so thankfully I have a really good paint guy he's 73 years young. He's a neighbor who lives a few doors down. He's a funny guy. He's from Greece or something. And he's a really great, like I said, funny guy. And he's going to come, and he and his son are going to come, and they're going to take care of all of it. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, when Jeff was putting up the ceiling, we did it in pine. Oh my God. Because we have the doorway open, I finally went and got a sheet, and I told him, I said, tack that up because my entire house is full of nothing but dust now. And I'm not going to do anything until he gets done in there. Once he's done in there, then I'm going to have to go through and just do a major cleaning. But
yeah, well, so we're doing
my art room. I'll let him do it.
We're doing all the living spaces. So we're doing the kitchen. We have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So we have a family room, living room, dining room, and kitchen. My house is only 1,500 square feet, so 1,575 to be exact. So it's not that big, but those 4 rooms are like half or more of the house, and it's all the living space. So I will be shutting off all of the bedrooms in the hallway. They're also going to be working on the hallway, so I'll be shutting off all the bedrooms to try to keep the, you know, some of the dust and paint fumes at bay, and opening windows, and it's not
trying to keep it contained. I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard if they're going to be doing a lot of sanding and stuff, if you take a wet sheet and hang it up in the doorway, it'll catch a lot of that dust from coming into your rooms.
They're going to have to do some because, like I said, they have to repair some of those seams, you know, since the house is settled and things crack. And
well, check into it and see if it's something that you can do.
I cuss a lot too, but in my main language. That's funny, Eve. See, I wish I had learned more Italian when my grandmother was alive. Not that she would have taught me any cuss words, because she was a very proper Catholic lady. But my dad knows all the Italian cuss words, and he won't teach me any of them.
See how he is.
I know, right?
I'm ever since I got out of work and I'm no longer working, my mouth, and I told my husband, I said, you know what? When I stop hurting, I'll stop swearing. So that tells you anything. It's going to be a while.
I don't have any Derwent art bars, Ian, but I do have a lot of Derwent pencils, and I love them.
Same here. I like the Derwent pencils. The art bars.
I had the Inktense bars. Not a fan. Not because they don't work great. They do. I'm not a fan of the packaging, and I'm not a fan of the way you have to use them. I don't like them. I do have the Inktense pencils. Those I prefer. They're easier to use, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I actually sold my Inktense blocks. And Dion, I'm not sure what you missed me talking about. Ask me again, because I don't know what I said. I'm having one of those days. I've had 3 cups of coffee. My brain still feels asleep.
You know, you keep talking about coffee. I'm going to have to go get another big cup.
I know, right? I'm going to actually have to drink tea because I've already had 3 cups, and Bob would rather I not more than that, because then I start furiously texting him about things while he's trying to have meetings at work. And
it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. If I drink a cup of coffee now, I will be up until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh, see.
Yeah, so I can't do that. Although I have many nights like that without coffee, so.
Yeah, it doesn't take coffee to keep me awake. I just, you know, Mrs. Menopause just keeps me awake.
I can't say what the name of my keeping awake pert thing is. Yeah. It's a bad word.
Yeah. So next week for Watercolor Wednesday, we're going to work with watercolor pencils, watercolor inks, watercolor crayons, and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And we're going to create something with those. We're not going to use any actual watercolor paint.
You know what, Gina? Can you take that actually a little bit further and say next Wednesday only use Neo? color neo, and then the following week use pencils, or you know what I'm saying?
We can do one product at a time. We can do watercolor crayons, and then watercolor pencils, and then watercolor ink.
I think that way, because if somebody doesn't have all three of the products that you're using on one day, you know, if they've only got the Neos, let's just use the Neos. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I have different kinds of watercolor crayons.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use the different brands of crayons, because maybe somebody doesn't have Neo colors. And if you don't have Neo colors, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of water-soluble crayons out there. But if you go to a lot of your fine art supply stores will have Neo color crayons in open stock. Open stock is a term that means that instead of having to buy a set of something like colored pencils or Neo color crayons, you can just buy one or two. I would usually have a budget, and I would say have $20, and I would go in with the $20, and whatever the supply was I was trying to build up my collection of, I would go in and I would buy that much of that thing. Some weeks it was watercolor paint, and that really only got me 2 tubes if I was lucky. Other weeks it was Neo color crayons, and then I was able to get 3 or 4 crayons. It depended on the store that I went to and how much they were. But that's a great way on a budget to build up a supply of stuff.
And clearance.
Yeah, and clearance.
90% of my art supplies I've gotten either on sale with a coupon or on clearance.
And I love a good strong black tea with lots of caffeine in it. But when I say I'm going to go make a cup of tea instead, it's decaffeinated green tea. Because I have high blood pressure, and the caffeine is really not good for my blood pressure.
I used to be a caffeine addict when I drank Diet Coke. I had Diet Coke running through my bloodstream.
It was the first thing I gave up when I was diagnosed 13 years ago with high blood pressure, was soda.
Yeah.
I occasionally have a ginger ale. That's it. I don't really drink soda.
We've pretty much given it up. Every now and then, like when we go out to eat dinner, like if there's a certain restaurant and I know their iced tea is really nasty, I'll drink a Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's pretty much iced tea. Iced tea and coffee in the morning.
Ian, I'm not sure what you're asking. Are they C-Dosh? I don't know what that means.
Hey, can I call you back? Sorry, Gina. Can I call you back?
It's okay.
I'm live streaming on YouTube right now. Okay. All right. I'll see you when you get here. Sorry about that, guys. That was
Ian, if you're asking about the Neo Color 2, there's a Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 crayons like this, is what we're talking about. So we'll use these next week. I also have, and yes, I have every color. It took me years to build up the collection, you guys. And like I said, I saved up money. I bought them few at a time. Don't feel like you have to go out and have a ton of money and buy the entire collection. Don't do that. Just don't break the bank trying to get art supplies. But I also have Recollection watercolor gel crayons. We'll use. Also, you could have the Distress watercolor crayons. Those would work. Gelatos. Well, I would cover that in with the Neo Color 2s. And also, where are the budget-friendly ones? These ones. Okay, definitely these ones. If you're on a budget, and especially if you're just getting started with mixed media, you don't know if you're going to like not only mixed media or gel crayons, but you don't know if you're going to like watercolor, and you want to try this watercolor crayon thing. These are Target Up and Up watercolor gel crayons. I think the whole set of I think there's only 8 colors, but the whole set is like $5 or something. And you can find them in the kids' art supply aisle.
There's also another set which is called Sparkle.
Oh yeah,
it's a watercolor crayon set. This one I got on Amazon, and they're like a glitter. They're not expensive at all.
Wow.
This is another watercolor crayon. It's a lot like a gel.
Yeah.
Love them. Trying to see what else is in here. That's just gel crayons. Some of these are watercolor. Some of them are just, this one is watercolor twist up. This is Rose Art. I think this is also a Target brand.
I think it is. And I have this feeling they're made by the same company because they look exactly the same.
Yep. It says Mega Brands International out of China. And this is Rose Art. This is the cheap one.
I have those, and the packaging looks suspiciously similar.
Yep. So there's all different kinds of watercolor crayons out there that you can get at a relatively inexpensive price.
Yeah. So if you have some crayons that are water soluble for next week to play with, just use what you have. If you don't have any, and you're on a budget, then buy something affordable. Go to Target and try the Target Up and Up brand or the Rose Art brand, whatever they have that says it's a gel crayon that's water soluble, and that will work for next week's lesson. If you have the budget, of course, Neocolors are fabulous to have in your stash of stuff. Reeves water soluble crayons, yes. If you have a little bit of a better budget, you know, companies like Daniel Smith have a watercolor crayon that's just fabulous. I don't think I'll use it next week because that's not what we're trying to. I would rather stay away from the really expensive products. The Daniel Smith crayons cost more than the Neocolor, FYI. And the Neocolor is their student grade. Caran d'Ache has a higher grade water soluble crayon than the Neocolor, which are expensive. So anyway, Dion, I saw your question about the studio tour, and I try to do a studio tour update every year. And it's not quite that time of the year yet. I do it at the end of the year or the beginning of the next year. So we will be doing that. I have changed a few things around right now because my house is in a state of chaos because of the remodel. We're going to wait a little bit because I need to get things put back together first and figure out what else I'm purging.
You know, it's funny because I haven't done this. Well, I did a studio tour, but I didn't do like where everything was in every drawer, in every shelf, and because it would take me all day.
Yeah, right. Well, I think you should wait and do one after you move into the new one. Absolutely.
Absolutely, because there's going to be a lot of changes.
Yeah, and Cody Doll is saying she bought the Crayola gel crayons, and I love them. I have them, but I don't think they're water soluble, are they?
I don't think they are. Isn't that Cody? Is that the same as the Slick Sticks or the window?
Because yeah, I have these like Cindy, and I don't think they're water soluble, but I love them.
We'll find out.
I have a whole gel crayons. I love them. Oh, and Dion, I did do a studio tour around this time last year when I first moved into this room. So you can look at my channel, and you should be able to just search my channel for studio tour. There's a couple of different ones. One from when I was out in the garage before the asthma got to be an issue, and then one or two after I've moved in here. So,
Gina, they are. You can use them with water. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah.
I can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so we'll be. I have a tray and a box full of watercolor gel. Well, different kind of gel crayons. So we'll be playing with them next week. And
I want to see if I've got the window crayons. Those you can use as well with water.
Cool.
I just put the blue over it. So there's the window crayons. Yeah, I
also have some Shiva. I also have some Shiva crayons, but they're oil paint sticks, and they're not water soluble.
What about
you can use the water soluble oil pastels too.
Bingo. That's what I was just thinking of.
Yeah, and that may be some of what we bring out next week.
You know, another thing too you could do which is water soluble is the Chunkies. I call them chunkies.
Oh, the
What do you
woodies.
call
Yeah.
them?
Those
Woodies.
we'll probably use those when we do the pencils.
Okay, because I use these too.
Yeah, they're technically a pencil, and I use those, and also the graphite crayons, which are slightly water soluble. I use them a lot together.
Okay, Michael's didn't have gelatos.
Michael's doesn't always have gelatos, and my local art supply store is always half empty. I don't know what's with that. I either order stuff online or I drive all the way into Santa Cruz, California, which is like about an hour away from me, to Lens Art, L-E-N-Z, Lens Art in Santa Cruz. They've been there since like 1968 or something, and they have everything. They're a fabulous place, but I order online a lot. Like Cindy, I have lots of reasons that I can't or don't get out of the house a lot. The asthma is one of them. And it's just easier rather than running all over creation and dealing with the asthma and the coughing and the medication and the fact that I have anxiety disorder and want to run people over with the car, to just order online.
Lisa, you work at Michael's. I want to know when they're going to get their Jane Davenport stuff in. And I'd love to know what she's actually putting in the stores.
Oh, yeah.
I would love, love, love to know. Just
Hey,
because
Never
I'm...
Holidays by Elizabeth, hello. And yeah, this is an impromptu live session that we totally did not plan, just FYI. Next week, we are going to be, for those of you who are new, like Elizabeth, we're going to be doing Watercolor Wednesday with watercolor crayons, or water-soluble crayons. They're all different brands. We'll use different brands. I'm going to pull out the ones I have. We'll do a few swatches. We'll create a painting. And you don't have to do the exact same thing I do. That's what we're talking about right now. Just use what you have or what's in your budget. Yeah, the Prima. I do have the, let's see. Oh, yeah. See, I even have some that are hiding.
The Prima oil pastels.
Color Peps oil pastels, but they're just plain oil pastels. I have the Prima, the main, like as far as oil pastels go, the main ones I have are Prima and Portfolio, and they're both water soluble.
I have Prima and I have Maped Helix, and I also have the Faber-Castells. And I have not tried these with water.
Yeah, I have the box.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
What did I just do with
I
that?
also have the Maped Helix, the Color Peps, but I don't think they're. They did send me these, but I don't think
they are
not.
Yeah. Well, no, the oil pastels, the Maped Helix oil pastels are not water soluble. Let's see if the Faber-Castells are. No, the Faber-Castells are not either. That's the oil pastels. I can't see. The oil pastels for the Maped Helix and the Faber-Castells, they are not water soluble.
Yeah. Cody Doll, yeah, I see your post about the smell of the oil pastels. So yeah, there is an odor. It's not as bad as some other oil-based art mediums. That being said, I don't use them a lot because of the smell, and when I do use them, I have to be medicated and have the ceiling fan in here on. So if you're super sensitive, or especially more sensitive than I am, and I pretty much these days everything bothers me, then you probably want to not use them, or make sure you use them wisely in a well-ventilated area, that sort of thing. And I usually don't have, my rescue inhaler is usually not very far from me.
The Maped Helix Color Peps, I love these things, but yes, they're water soluble, but I think you get more benefit out of them just by smudging them the way they are, so I would not use water with them. If you guys are going to go out and buy Neo Colors, just so that you're aware, Neo Colors 1 is a crayon. It is not a water soluble crayon. This is like a permanent metallic crayon. So you're going to need to look at the Neo Color 2s. Do not buy the ones unless you don't want to use them with water.
Yeah.
Okay? Just so you guys know.
Yeah, and Dion, I'm right there with you. I'm seeing your post about anxiety, and yeah, I didn't realize for a long time that's what it was either. That being said, once I was diagnosed, I realized, thinking back on it, I don't remember ever not having it. So, and my mother doesn't either. She thinks I've always been this way. She's, you know, in the 1960s, I didn't know what it was. And I have some water soluble graphite, Ian, and I have in crayon form. So I have some graphite crayons. So we will be using that. And you guys know I just recently got the graphite watercolor in the little round tin. And that's fun to use with like the crayons. That'll be fun to use.
Okay, the portfolio are water soluble. However, these little guys, these are Alex. They're neons that I found. I don't even remember where now.
I don't think they're water soluble though.
They are not. No, but they're really cool neons.
The portfolio and the Prima are. They're very similar. The two products. You probably, if you have one, you don't need the other one. I have both. I'm insane. I'm reading some of the comments, and they don't have that strong of an odor. They don't bother me. Now the Shiva oil sticks I have sealed up tight in plastic. I don't use them a ton, and I don't have a ton of them because they do stink. It's kind of like the Dorlands. It smells too, and I don't use it without gloves, usually a mask, and the window's open.
Your neo colors were so nice and neat, Gina. Here's mine.
Mine looked like that for a long time. They were actually in a bucket. Tin. My charcoal pastels too were just in a round cookie tin for years, and it got to be so bad because I couldn't find anything. And with the charcoal and pastels, you know, pretty much everything then has dusting of the other colors on it, and it just drove me crazy. So I have a bunch of these boxes, and I have one for the neo colors, one for oil pastels, one for Sharpies, and one for chalk pastels and charcoal. Now these are from the hardware department at Walmart or Bass Pro Shop. They're cheaper than buying them at the craft store if you get them that way. And they're labeled because, you know, I can't have my environment be chaotic because then it makes my brain chaotic.
Cody, I take it you said the StazOn gives you a migraine. I take it you don't do anything with Sharpies. I love the smell of those things. I'm a marker sniffer.
So Cody, I would recommend, it sounds like you're like me. I have to hold my breath in the cleaning department of the supermarket when I want to go get laundry soap because the smells make me, I don't get a headache. They make me start to cough and wheeze. So then I would say to make sure that you have good ventilation when you do use these products, and or have the windows open if possible, and maybe have a mask on. Now, if it is all possible to find substitutes that work for you for these things, I would recommend doing that. One of the things I discovered recently, and there's a video coming up on it, was making my own markers with the Crayola marker maker refill kit, which is really cheap. It's like $6.99 on Amazon. And I have some experiments with that coming up. The best thing to put in those, to use in those, besides the Crayola ink it comes with, I found is Sumi ink. I made my own Sumi ink marker. It works like a charm. I did try some other inks I have, and they kind of work, but the Sumi ink one is fabulous. So I would do something more like that. You want to find something that's low or no odor. Or maybe one of the ones I like, these don't bother me. So the Winsor Newton watercolor markers, and that'll have to be another video because I have a few of them. Or the Letraset aqua markers. These are both water soluble, but these don't really have any odor, so they don't make you wheeze or anything or give you a headache.
Eve wants to know if the Sumi ink will clog.
I made the pen a week and a half ago. And let's see. Here's the Sumi ink pen. The other ones clog. That's part of the problem. The ink doesn't flow through the felt tip, and it starts to clog almost right away. That's part of the problem. The Sumi ink shouldn't, because it's water soluble. And here, we'll try it live. So no, the answer is no. And you can, you know, color with the side of it. And the thing is, because it's Sumi ink, it's not black. It's like this gray black, which is so cool.
Cody wants to know about the markers. And you know what? I think I have some of those. Do you have any?
I don't have. No.
Hang on. I think I do. The Dick Blick markers smell just like Sharpies.
Oh, yeah. So Eve, Sumi ink is water soluble. Sumi ink is always water soluble. I don't know if it has shellac in it, but it never dries permanent. There are other kinds of Japanese and Asian calligraphy ink that are permanent when dry, and I do think those have shellac in them. Sumi ink, the kind I buy at least, never dries permanent. Like, it could be dried on the paper for a week, and you can come back and take a baby wipe to that, and it will move around. And I get my Sumi ink for $1.50 for a bottle, pretty much about that big, at the Japanese dollar store.
Yeah, you're lucky, because on Amazon it's like $10 for that bottle.
Yeah, it's $1.50. Like this. It's this kind of Sumi ink. And I don't know if I can read the label because most of it's in Japanese.
My hubs is going to be home shortly, and guess what? I'm not cooking tonight.
I know. It does say the black ink will stain clothing, which I would assume because whatever they use to pigment it, even, you know, black watercolor paint is going to stain your clothing. Most of the labels in Japanese, so I have no idea. This is Sumi drying ink. There may be other kinds of Sumi ink, I don't know, but this is Sumi drying ink. Yeah, I don't know. I think the part of the label that says that is like in Japanese. Because this is what the label looks like. Some of it's in English. Some of it's Japanese.
This marker that
Posca paint pen, yeah. That's from the dollar store.
I like Japanese that.
Dollar. It's their version of a Posca pen.
Well, guess what? It's got purple and pink on the end of it now, but I love it. I love this marker.
So Daiso has those paint pens. It's their version of the Posca pen. They're $1.50 each. They don't have as many colors as Posca has, and I have yet to see them in black, which is interesting.
Wonder why.
I don't know, but they do have white a lot, so I usually stock up on the white ones when I can.
They have white, and what other colors do they have, Gina?
Like yellow, blue, red, green. They had, I think, primary colors. I don't think they had purple.
No.
I'll let you know when I go again, because I've got to go back now.
Let me know. Ugh. Okay, is everybody set? Do we have more questions?
So yeah, Daiso, if you guys are, you know, one of the things I do when we're traveling is I research before we go there if there's a Daiso, if there's a local mom and pop art supply store, if there's a Dick Blick or a Jerry's Artorama, because, you know, I'm a mixed media artist, so when we're on vacation, I want to spend at least a couple of hours at one of the stores away from home. Even Daiso, because although I have it here, they have different stuff in other stores. So, you know, Las Vegas they don't have Daiso, but they have Dick Blick.
They had a really cool,
you know, in California we have a store too.
They had that awesome Japanese, or no, was it Korean?
I think it was a Korean dollar store.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time in there.
Art markers make great paint markers. They're glass pens. I actually like them. All right. So yeah, if you guys are visiting California or somewhere where there's a Daiso, yeah, make sure and stop because they've got some good stuff. You can go to Daiso USA and find out where their USA locations are. I think they're mostly on the West Coast, like California and Texas. I think one other state that I can't think of right now. But yeah, if you're in California, Daiso's all over the place. There's a big one in Berkeley and a big one in San Francisco and a big one in Sacramento, I think.
My
All
brother,
right, that's it for right.
So one of these days, I'm going to get out there again.
Sacramento also has Utrecht, which is the subsidiary of Dick Blick.
Isn't there no, the reuse is in San Francisco, right?
So there is Scrap, which is in San Francisco, Scrounger Center for Reusable Art Parts. That's the name of the store. And then there's the Reuse Center, which is a different place, which I think is in Berkeley.
Got to hit both of those too. I'm just going to come out with a bunch of empty suitcases.
I've never been to the Berkeley one because I don't want to drive there by myself.
Man, I'd go with you.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat, girl.
Yeah, last time I was in Berkeley, it wasn't pretty. I got so lost.
That's called GPS, Gina.
Yeah, well, it was before GPS. It's been that long since I've been in Berkeley. It was pre-GPS.
Gotcha.
All right, that's it, everybody. We will be back next week, and I will be posting the schedule across social media when I'm live on Facebook, at least. So keep your eye out. I don't know what's going up with YouTube, if we're going to be able to schedule things or just have to sporadically go live and then tell you guys that we're live. So keep an eye out for things.
And it was nice chatting with everybody. You'll be seeing more of me. I've got some ideas of coming up in 2017. I think Gina's going to be my cohort, and we got some other things in the works.
Yep. All right. Don't forget the most important thing. Go out and do something nice for yourself. You deserve it.
And have fun. That's what life's all about.
Yeah, go and when you're going to go art supply shopping, go visit the mom and pop before you go to the big box store. Sometimes you're not only going to get better service most of the time, but sometimes you'll get a better deal. So do that. There's my tip for the day. All right, that's it, you guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.